Oh, I'm a little sweaty from all the salt I've been spitting on Twitter. And it's gonna cost some bucks to get Malak at 5 stars. And I don't want to talk about this too much because there was a lot of really good things inside of the Road Ahead blog about a lot of really cool things coming to the game, and it's kind of overshadowed by this Malak situation. And I just want to point out something very quickly because last night Arnold texted me, "Are you gonna wail out on this?" And I was like, I'm gonna sleep on it. And the problem that I'm having is I don't even have enough Omegas to make this work at all. I just don't have any Omegas. So I don't even know how to do this without Omegas. I'm about 15 Omegas short. Even if I went all out and bought all the gear, I don't have access to the Zetas or the Omegas to get them up to 17,500. Then what? Then what do I do? What am I supposed to do? And so I can't even start gearing them because I don't know if I'm going to have enough Omegas for this to be worthwhile. This is just crazy talk, this event. And I just want to clarify, the event is probably fine. The requirements is probably fine. Less than 2 days notice and a 2-day weekend event, I guess a 3-day event, is just unheard of. And in the past, they said, that it was going to be at least a week's notice. That is not the case. So before I move on to the road ahead, I want to read this post by Skelturk, someone that I have a lot of respect for. We've worked together on some videos too. I thought we had reached a new low with the Revan event, forced to purchase shards of 2 characters together, one easy, one hard, and that was with Canderous and Karth, plus crystals, or forced to have the chance of dropping a character almost everyone had at 7 stars forever, effectively lowering the value of the packs. He's talking about HK47. And then we introduced a new gear that's going to take weeks to farm, or 5,600 crystals to get right now. But this was nothing compared to what dropped today. And he's talking about the 1750 requirement of basically the Old Republic characters. So you have a choice of which ones you want to do, but some people like myself are deficient on Zalbar and Mission. I don't know. It's just the way it is. I'm appalled at how predatory and greedy this game has been lately, inventing all sorts of new ways to squeeze money out of players, and it seems to be only getting worse. I don't think Capital Games is to blame, but rather EA. They probably are putting a lot of pressure on them to make more money, and since Darth Revan hasn't been successful in that matter, despite the packs and the new gear, they're now going to the bank on Malak. And basically the numbers on that is that this time last year in the month of March, they made like $18 million, where with Darth Revan's release and last month, it was only $11 million. That's like a $7 million shortfall. That said, there are limits that shouldn't be crossed. Power threshold of 17,500. So basically, Gear 11 plus Zeta or G12 plus Omegas on no less than 10 characters, including both Revans, to get a 5-star character that you still have to Gear 12 plus Omegas on no less than 10 characters, including both Revans, to get a 5-star character that still have to finish farming in the guild store. What? And then add to this 2 days notice for a 2-day event. And of course, the kit seems OPAF from the bits we could see on Crumb's post. Yes, Malak does look amazing, by the way. Sincerely hope this isn't going to be the norm moving forward because, mark my words, a lot of people are going to quit over this as Malak becomes unbeatable in an arena unless you have him. And let's not forget the hard nodes are also going back to 5. Further screwing the free-to-play players. I can just see the EA CEO, fanning his face with hundreds right now. Oof. I'm fanning my face because I'm salty. I'm sweaty. Anyways, let's get into the road ahead. And I really like the Road Ahead blog because they talk about increased communication. We're going to get a lot of Clone Wars. We're going to definitely get Padme, be my guess. We're going to get new territory battle on Geonosis. We're going to get reworks to very important characters. which I'm really excited about. Snips, Anakin, General Kenobi, but I like the way they refer to General Kenobi. I was at least like, God, we don't need General Kenobi to get reworked. And so we're just going to go over some of the important parts. Right here, she's talking about communication. And I thought it was kind of funny right here that she talks about someone is reading this message aloud on a podcast or a YouTube video, pouring every single choice of word. That's me. All right. I don't know. Like whether very difficult means the same thing is quite challenging. Well, I don't know what you expect. These road ahead things are very important. We want to know, and we have opinions. But they're going to talk about how they're trying to provide intent. And I think that a lot has to do with Grievous. Grievous, for me, was very underwhelming. I just expected more out of a character that was relatively hard to get at one time. Never important. And it just seems like the kit was smart and interesting and intelligent, but yet at the same time, somewhat underwhelming, and I think that the sales for Grievous were rather soft also. Maybe that's why Malak is this way, is because the Grievous sales were weak. I don't know. Some important stuff right here. Another topic we know is near and dear to everyone is the character release cadence. At its core, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is about collecting characters, and how and when they are released is always on a topic of much conversation. And I have to disagree a little bit. The way that matchmaking works in Grand Arena actually makes the game not really about collecting characters. You definitely want to sandbag your galactic power currently and keep it low as possible and not collect characters so that way you can get a favorable matchup. It doesn't seem right to me, but for me, I like collecting characters. All right. However, the game evolves. So much the way in which we release characters. You've already seen a couple of Galactic Chase events for both Ebon Hawk and Emperor Shuttle, and some changes on how we're merchandising marquees with Droideka. Droideka actually was cheaper quite a bit. I would say about $80 less than the old setup. The new packs with marquees now are quite a bit less. And also getting the Ebon Hawk and the Emperor Shuttle, doing it the way that they did it with the Galactic Chase, was also probably about $100 less than the traditional marquee packs. One of the core ways which really characters marquee events, while we still will be doing marquees, there are going to be a lot fewer marquees in the first half of the year than there were in the same period last year. Last year, we had a ton. We went like 20-something in a row. It was kind of a little overwhelming. We actually had marquee overload last year. I think it was 26 in a row or something. Instead, you're going to see more and more reworks visiting the holotable. Now, I like reworks. I think everybody likes reworks. And I actually don't mind that there's almost always a catch with the rework. And I think that's a good strategy. Rework Mace, rework Ahsoka, so on. And then introduce, another one of those Jedis that was in the Battle of Geonosis as kind of like the cornerstone character to make the whole team work. That's fine. They've got to make money. That's just the way the strategy is typically. So that's what I'm expecting, is that we're going to get all these reworks, but there's going to be some sort of marquee character or a new character, or maybe Padme, to make them really work optimally. And I think that's fine. It was kind of that way with Grievous. It's like, oh yeah, Grievous is reworked, but really to make Grievous work correctly, you need Droideka and the B1 to get, the B2 to work and all that stuff. That's fine. I like that. And then I talk about, with all reworks, our aim is to make them undoubtedly perform better. However, in some cases, like in the case of the recently reworked HK-47, and they can also throw in Finn in here, we changed his core identity as droid leader by giving him a new role in the Sith Empire team, which, in giving him power and synergy with Master Darth Revan, resulted us in nerfing his leader ability. And I gotta say, with the nerfed leadership ability of Finn in HK-47, makes me wonder about Palpatine lead, actually. I hope they don't touch Palpatine lead. But that is the type of leadership that they have nerfed in recent times, is one that fuels turn meter gain. And because there's some problems with that, and future characters have to be designed around that. And I think that's the reason why we got some of the buffs to Fallen Bastila. I think Palpatine lead is stronger right now than they expected. And so I think Malak and then the Bastila rework might shut down some of these Palp leads. And I just hope they don't rework Palpatine. But that is the type of kit that they are going after. I do agree with this. Overall, we feel he's more interesting and balanced character than before the rework, but he fits into a substantially different team and role. For that reason, we decided to refund investment for that leader ability, and I'm just surprised at all the people that sandbag their GP probably left that leadership ability at 0, didn't upgrade it at all. Everybody is scraping to keep their GP as low as possible for better matchmaking. The matchmaking system seems very flawed in Grand Arena. For that reason, we decided to refund investment in that leader ability, and every time we make a significant change, we will attempt to make that calculation. And I just want to say thank you for refunding Zeta Finn. I did not put the Zeta back on Finn. I did not see the value in that at all. I think Finn is better under a Jedi Training Rey team. However, the time that design, balance, and QA and other teams spend on these reworks is sometimes more significant than it would be to make a new character from scratch. That's interesting. Since many people already own these characters and invested in teams and use them, it is critical to get the balance right and do our best to respect players' previous investment in any characters we change. I say this highlight that we try to think about all these things in balance, marquees, and reworks, with our eye towards different goals for the player base. For example, we just revealed a new kind of release that is very, very, very significantly difficult and quite challenging called Mythic Battles. Looking forward to that. It's not like other types of releases we've had until this point. We think that theory crafting and sharing strategy is going to be at another level. You've been warned. I'm looking forward to that as long as it's not the 17,500 mess, because that does not factor into fun nor engagement. It's not engaging nor fun, and it does not come into the category of very, very, very significantly difficult and quite challenging. If that sentence there simply means the characters must have a 17,500 power to get into the event, then I think this is useless. I hope that is not the case. A quick note on character power. We're where? Okay, so what they're saying is that Jedi Knight Revan was too powerful. I think that he was tuned a little bit too high. For me, Jolie made Jedi Knight Revan over the top good, his Night Sister Jedi, and they are trying not to have that happen again, and let's do it. We haven't even got to the road ahead yet. We're getting there. Hello there. And I'm not a hater of Knights of the Old Republic. It's just I don't have an attachment to that era and the characters like I do to like the original trilogy. And for some people, the prequels. And I think it has to do with the age I was when the original trilogy came out. And so I have an attachment to it. I don't even hate the Ewoks. I didn't even realize how terrible the Ewoks were until I was an adult. I liked them when I was a little kid. We're starting to shift our focus a different era from we're going to spend some time on. This doesn't mean every release from now until episode 9 would be from this era. It just means that it provides a structure for the content and some of the features we're doing. Now, Knights of the Old Republic has been on the forefront for almost 2 years now. And so it looks like we're going to shift focus on the game between now and episode 9 for it to be mostly Clone Wars. Cool. And this is where I'm pretty excited. Starting off, we're going to be doing reworks of the trio of the Master Duelists from the Jedi Order, Anakin Skywalker, General Kenobi, and Ahsoka Tano. Now, technically, Anakin and Ahsoka had a mild rework way back in the day. We're going back more than 2 years. General Kenobi's kit is currently solid and good right now. Anakin had an okay kit at one time. He actually was in the arena for a brief period. And Ahsoka Tano has always had a lackluster kit, even from the beginning. And as the power creep or as inflation of the characters' power levels has gone up, Ahsoka's kit today along with Anakin's, is quite outdated. General Kenobi, for example, is one of the most used characters in the game, and so we will most likely focus on changes related to synergies with the other two rather than pure power, as we did with the recent changes to Bastila Shan. So they're probably just going to add a unique that'll be cute and interact with Anakin and Snips, and I welcome that. But yeah, General Kenobi's kit is actually perfectly fine right now. But the intent is for these three characters together to synergize and elevate the value of each other. And my guess is that they will add a fourth character that is new, a marquee character that'll make those three work very well. That is just kind of like a logical business plan, in my opinion. We have more to share with their kit reveals in the upcoming weeks, and we're going to be playing around with this era for quite a while. So expect more old and new characters from this era to come front and center. And yay. Cool. Like I said, I love Knights of the Old Republic, but I just don't have the infinity for it like I do for Clone Wars or the original trilogy. The Battle on Geonosis. With our eyes on the Clone Wars, we're thrilled to announce that around the time for the next big feature update, Title Update 16, which will land inside of the next 3 months, we'll be launching the first map of brand new territory battle token on Geonosis. Very good. In anticipation of this launch of the brand new map, recently just streamlined the Hoth map platoon so players can more efficiently clear Hoth. The new Geonosis map will have new characters along with special events, and we're eager to share more details as we get closer to the release. I wonder if that's how Padme will be released. We will see. There is a concept of the Geonosis map. Boy, I like that. Oh boy, that's going to be fun. Grand Arena Championships. In that update, we're also going to be releasing an extension of the Grand Arena. The update is intended to be the start of the new era of competitive play of Galaxy of Heroes. Over time, there will be more and more ways to demonstrate that you're among the very best Galaxy of Hero players. So I just want to say this. It seems very easy to fix the matchmaking inside of Grand Arena. You have to place a certain number of characters on defense. And on average, there's a certain number of characters that people will use on offense to be successful. You take that number and add up the top, whatever that number is, the top amount of that each player's roster, that number of characters, and match the people that way. Because the bottom half of your roster, if it's geared up, is completely useless. I mean, none of these characters down here get used for anything. So why are they being counted towards matchmaking? I don't think anybody is using Gamora Guard ever inside of Grand Arena. Yeah, and if I had him at 1 power or 100 power versus 10,000, I would have an advantage. So I hope they fix the matchmaking in that sense. All right, guys, what do you think about all this? I'm trying not to be super salty about the Malak thing. And for me, I just don't know what to do because of the Mega situation. All right, guys, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.